Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, pacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, rocks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. 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 Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, pacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, rocks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Drivers out here on the racetrack, qualifying underway as they get ready to battle, they get ready to duke it out here this afternoon. You guys already know what to do, man. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we get ready to battle here from Phoenix Raceway. This is going to be one heck of a show, one amazing races. Drivers out there on the racetrack laying down their quick time, trying to find their way into victory lane. And right now, quick time out there on the racetrack belongs to this Hendrick car NASCAR.com, number 51 of Wyatt Mickelson, but he doesn't hang on to it for very long as Zach Claytor into the top spot, but now he'll slide back to second. Matthew Wood now with the quick time out there in the wooden car. Wood into the top spot. Claytor back into position number 2. Here is Grant Applegate now slides into third. Wyatt Mickelson there into fourth is Ryan Holler, his teammate, back there in position number 5. Michael Durham Jr., Nick Biddy, Jaden Porter, Ethan Greek, and Logan Perriman now rounding out our top 10 as we do see Joe David out there on the racetrack. We do see Aiden Lucas out there. He's actually going to jump up inside the top 4 here, so a good run there for Lucas as he jumps up into that 4th position. Evan Stewart in the 37 ride on the AG's Designs number 37 ride. He's going to jump up into position number 6, going to break up those teammates up there as we do see Caleb Sick. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Caleb Sick there in that 06 ride. He jumps up into the 18th position. Zach Perry up into 9th there in that Busch Light Machine. So Perry with a good lap time right there, jumping up inside the top 10. We do see Reese Calva out there in that Prestige Enterprises Texas A&M ride, jumping out there onto the racetrack as well. We do have a couple drivers left to qualify here. Noah Blackwell, Brian Underwood, and Keegan Huey yet to qualify here this afternoon as well. We'll have to wait and see what those drivers can do, if they get enough time, if they can slide out there onto the racetrack and see if they can try to lay down a good lap as well. As we do see Caleb Sick up and into second as Zach Perry finds a little extra speed. He jumps up into that 6th position as well. So a couple more drivers jumping up there inside the top 6 on the racetrack as Caleb Sick and Zach Perry now sit 2nd and 6th on the speedway. Reese Calva looking to get his lap in here. Looks like he's going to qualify as of right now in the 20th position. Going to look for a little bit more speed here on lap number 2. Looking to find that extra lane, looking to find that extra groove. Doesn't look like he's going to find it, unfortunately, there for the Prestige Enterprises ride. He'll have to settle in for that 20th starting position as Keegan Huey, Noah Blackwell, and Brian Underwood yet to qualify here this afternoon. And if they don't get out there very soon, they may be starting at the back of the pack here this afternoon. As each and every one of these drivers going to be racing, looking to try to find their way into victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't welcome you guys in enough. Coming in, showing the love and enjoying the racing action here this afternoon with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a great show. A lot of side-by-side tight battles out there on the speedway and down throughout that back straightaway. Well, now the front straightaway here with that dog leg definitely makes things very, very wild, especially on these restarts. Seeing drivers go, 2, 3, 4, even 5 wide out there. Everyone trying to run some different lanes and trying to cut that dog leg down the back straightaway. Really makes things interesting in a quick hurry out there on the speedway. And we'll have to keep a close eye on these restarts and watching these drivers and where they're trying to jump out to, where they're trying to run a line and see if they can find that extra little bit of speed, if it's going to matter cutting that dog leg, or if they find enough speed up there in the outside groove and still on the racing surface there, and where you can maybe protect your car a little bit more. It's a little bit safer. You don't really scrub or bounce around down on the apron as much as you do here at Phoenix if you just stay on the racing surface and not below that yellow line. But you can go down there, you can make passes, and you can make moves down cutting through that dog leg, and that's what we're going to see here probably throughout the entire evening. Drivers trying to use that dog apron, that little dog leg there to try and find that extra little bit of speed to try to put themselves into a better position on the racetrack. Is starting on the pole in this Racers for Christ number 16. It is the NJB Designs ride. That is Matthew Wood. Wood will start in the top position to his outside in that 06 ride, or is it the 60? I think the other side says 06. This side says 60, but it is the 06 of Caleb Sick. Sick will start in this top spot. Zach Claytor will start there in position number 3. Then we see Grant Applegate, the Red Bull 57 ride, going to start there in 4th. Starting in the 5th spot is that GOAT Diecast number 34 ride, the GOAT Diecast, the Racing Diecast ride, will start there in position number 5. To his outside will be the 76 of Zach Perry. Starting in position number 7 in the AllyHendrickCars.com, number 51, that is Wyatt Mickelson. To his outside in that Auto Clinic AG's Designs, number 37, it's Evan Stewart who will start there in 8th. Starting in the 9th spot in the Xfinity 10G 23 machine, that is Ryan Haller. To his outside in the Grizzly Fallen Outdoors 00 ride, that is Michael Durham Jr. Starting back in 11th in that 32 ride, it is Nick Biddy himself in that NBD machine. The Nick Biddy Designs ride will start back there in position number 11. To his outside in the AG's Design Sim Racing Center, number 74, it's Jaden Porter. Starting in position number 13 out there on the racetrack, it's going to be, I don't know where this inside lane has disappeared to, as we see Logan Harriman, Trenton Johns there in 14th, William Bogart, that's Jason Bogart there. Jason Bogart back in the 15th spot. Joe David, Reese Kelva, Keegan Huey, Nick Jensen in this beautiful John Deere 42 ride. He's going to be moving up here and towards the front of the field, starting down on the inside lane. We do see Michael Ponder Jr., Brian Underwood. He's going to be starting back there in 21st as Ethan Greek going to be starting down pit side here. Unfortunately not out there on the racetrack as of yet, as we're going to end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly going green flag racing here at Phoenix Raceway with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. Matthew Wood on the front row, our pole position here this evening, and he's looking to lead us here on the first lap. As down low, down through quarter number 1 and 2, you see these drivers sort of spread out in a big run right there, able to slide up, clear that 06, and Wood will lead us down the back straightaway into quarter number 3 here in Phoenix. Right there, already trying to take over position number 2, it's Grant Applegate. Applegate down low, trying to find a run underneath of that 06 ride as Wood leads lap number 1. He's not going to cut that dog leg. See everyone else bouncing around out there, and we see one driver running into issues. No caution flag as of yet. I believe that's the 99 rider, Logan Perriman. Now we do see that yellow flag fly, as we also see the 38 of Keegan Huey turn around. The 6 of Joe David, he's also collected here in this one, and our first caution flag will come out on lap number 2. So we make the first lap nice, clean, and green. The second lap not as nice, as watch this 99 ride. Unfortunately here, Logan Perriman in this Sprite number 99 machine. He's going to try to cut down the racetrack onto the apron right there, and that's what we talked about before we got racing, is this dog leg going from the racing surface down to the apron can really unbalance these race cars, and unfortunately that's exactly what we see with that 99. He gets a little bit squirrely right there. The rear end kicks out and around. He's sliding sideways. Unfortunately collects that 6 rider, Joe David. David still on the throttle here, trying to get this car pointed back in the right direction. Unfortunately it will not come back down the speedway. He goes up the racetrack into corner number 1. Not only takes out himself, but takes out that 38 ride, the Ferguson machine of Keegan Huey right there as well. Heavy contact for both of those drivers. You do see the 22 rider, Michael Ponder Jr. He's going to slide in here. He's going to end up getting some contact there as well, as he slams into that 6 machine, and some heavy damage out there on the speedway. A lot of tore up race cars out here on the speedway, and it's just all down to that, that transfer right there. That little bit of a gap, that little bit of a bump going down into that dog leg, and that's what sends this 99 ride around here and gets him sideways. Then he clips this 6 ride, unfortunately not getting onto the binders, not checking the car up, and he just comes in with too much momentum and unfortunately slams up into corner number 1 wall, into the 38. Nowhere to go for the 22 as he gets a little piece of that one. Not too much damage though for Michael Ponder Jr., but for all those drivers, they're going to go down pit sign and have to try to find a way to get their cars fixed up and back out there on the speedway and see if they can find that extra gear and try to race their way back up towards the front of the pack. Is out in front, continuing to lead the way here in this one. It is this 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood leads this race. He is out in front, showing these drivers that he is the one to beat here this afternoon. Is SAP Realtree FM says, let's get it, baby, coming and showing the love here in this one. And let's go Greek. Nice looking car. We miss you, Chewy, as Mike Greek coming in showing the love here in this one. Now you're gonna have to give me the story here on what Chewy is, or who Chewy is. I'm not sure. Let me take a look here at this car. Let me take a look, see if we can get a look at it. Oh, it's a dog. Aww. That's sad. That's sad. Rest in peace, Chewy. Rest in peace, Chewy. Will for always be in our hearts. Best friend as well on the side, man. Oh my God, you're gonna break my heart up in here now. Come on now, Chewy. I didn't know you. I wish I could pet you. It's a heartbreaker right there, man. Losing a pet, it stings, man. Losing a pet's like losing a family member. It's like losing your, best friend, or losing somebody in your family, close friend, anything like that, man. It stings and it sticks with you for a long time. So our hearts go out to the entire Greek family, and hoping that their hearts and prayers are felt here this afternoon. That we're all thinking of Chewy here this afternoon as. Says, well, my race didn't last long. GB, oh, brother, that's a tough break. Tough break out there for you, Keegan. It's Mr. Huey's parked down pit side here, unfortunately. That's some heavy damage. Tough break out there right now. Down a lap, and multiple laps potentially here is out in front, leading the way as we see a couple of drivers banking off that quarter two wall down the back straightaway. Doesn't look like too much damage here as Ryan Applegate able to slide up, take that second spot away from Caleb 6-6 back into position number 3. Potentially could slide back even farther here as there's Matthew Wood laying down the quickest lap of this race out in front of the field here. Got that clean air, looking very strong here to start this race, but all these drivers back there behind them, they got one thing in common. They're trying to knock this 16 ride out of victory lane and not letting him win a race here this afternoon. So Matthew Wood, he's going to be the one that they're gunning for until he gives up this lead. Someone can take it away from him. He is the guy to beat here this afternoon. As everyone trying to battle around the racetrack, we did see a couple of drivers run into some issues here as it looked like Ethan Greek making his way down pit road here. Looks like some issues here for the Chewy number 3 ride. As he bounces off the walls right there. Luckily enough, able to get that car somewhat pointed back in the right direction. Now we see that 4-rider Reese Kelba. Kelba getting very slideways there in corner number 1 and 2. Luckily enough, gets that car pointed back in the right direction. Keeps on rolling back there in 21st. And unfortunately now I'm going to take his car down pit side. Has that heavy right front damage there on that car as we see Matthew Wood continue to lead the way. Caleb Sick back into second here for a split second as he goes for the slide job there over the 57 to Grant Applegate. Applegate though quickly crosses him back over, stays there in second, and Sick back into third. And Zach Claytor now into fourth. Ryan Haller there in fifth. Haller working his way up towards the front of the field. Wyatt Mickelson right there with them as we're missing a driver here from the front of the field, and I do believe we are going to see the caution flag come back out as I believe Aiden Lucas potentially running into problems here. Not sure what happened to Aiden Lucas, but that car just kind of fell off the map there. As we'll take a look here, see what happens to the 34. Just back in the field, looks like he may have ran into some issues, may have came down pit side as we do see the 76 right there. Zach Perry turned around. We'll take a look back and see how this got started, how Perry got turned here. Just looks like he loses the rear end, tries to correct it, overcorrects it, turns up into the outside fence. Doesn't look like too much damage there to that push light number 76 right. Unfortunately, that will bring us back under the caution flag here, but tough break there for him. We did see Aiden Lucas here. There we go. This is where we're going to see something happen. Aiden Lucas was rolling just outside the top 3 here. This looks like he's going to go for a drift. Unfortunately, getting back under the throttle a little too much. Slides down the racetrack. Almost enters pit lane right there. Luckily enough, gets that car rolling, but does lose quite a bit of track position right there. Loses about 10 positions on the racetrack, and that is not where he wanted to be this early in the race, and he's going to go back there in a quick hurry. As a tough break there. Tough break for him, and we'll see if he can try to battle his way back up to the front of the pack. Is out in front, it's Matthew Wood. Wood continuing to lead the way here. Grant Applegate there in second, Caleb Sink back there in third. Then we see Zach Claytor, Ryan Haller, Wyatt Mickelson, Evan Stewart, Nick Biddy, Trent Johns, and Jaden Porter rounding out the top 10. That 17 ride, Jason Bogart looking beautiful out there on the speedway. That Flex Seal number 17 looking fresh as heck out there on the speedway. Loving that paint scheme, man. That Flex Seal paint scheme looking very, very cool here this afternoon, and rolling out there right now in that 11th position. Brian Underwood in the bang, number 77 back there in 12th with Joe David back in 13th. Aiden Lucas there in that 14th position with Nick Jensen in that John Deere Toyota Camry there in position number 15. Logan Perriman back there in position number 16 as Michael Durham Jr., Zach Perry, Ethan Greek, Michael Ponder Jr., Reese Kelva, Keegan Huey, bringing up the rear of the field here is Noah Blackwell, not out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for Blackwell, not sliding out there as of yet. We'll see if he joins the field and joins this race at some point here this afternoon, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Down here through corner number 2, the pace car will head back down pit road, and we'll get ready to go back to battle here. We'll get ready to duke it out once again, see how many laps we can get in before the next caution flag, and if we can make it, maybe a little green flag run here down to our first stage of the day, as we will have a couple stage breaks here this afternoon. So stages are going to come out at some point in time here. Let me double check and see. I want to make sure we get the right info here. Zap. Lap 40 and lap 80 are our stage breaks here this afternoon. So everyone racing to that lap 40 marker, trying to put themselves into a good position, as we do see that caution flag come right back out, as cautions breeding cautions, and more issues here for Aiden Lucas. Aiden Lucas just on this restart, trying to get going, trying to get pointed back in the right direction here on the outside lane. Let's take a look here. Just loses that rear end, goes around. Oh, tough break right there for Aiden Lucas. Not the way he wanted his day to start, already sliding backwards after that slide through corner 1 and 2, and now here in 3 and 4, just coming back to the green flag. He's just going to step on it right here. Gets back onto the throttle, unfortunately. I don't know if he downshifted or just on the throttle too quickly, too hard, and unfortunately just spins those tires, and the car just kicks around on him. And tough break right there. Logan Perriman going to get some damage out of that one, as the 99 just really had nowhere to go right there. Got a piece of him, got a piece of that outside fence. Doesn't look like too much damage, but unfortunately that puts us right back under the caution flag here this afternoon. So we will stack them up, we will rack them up, and we'll get ready to go back to battle here. We'll get ready to duke it out here once again this afternoon for another restart. And right now, out in front, it is Matthew Wood. Matthew Wood in that Racers for Christ ride, continue to put on a heck of a show, continue to keep these drivers back there at bay, and with some of these caution flags, going to get us closer and closer to that first stage break of the afternoon. Now, that could be a really good area for drivers to kind of base their pit strategy off of. You know, whether or not you come down pit road and get fuel and tires there on lap number 40, and then lap number 80 during stage break number 2, and then you kind of got about a 65 lap run to the end of this race. So really trying to make that decision to, kind of come down pit road. Actually, I do believe lap 80 to lap 156, I do believe, is what we're running here this afternoon. So it's a little closer to another, 80 lap run, something like that, another 80 lap run. So maybe you split that final run with another pit stop after 40 more laps, and then come down pit side, have 34, 36 laps to the checkered flag. So there's a lot of different strategy that these drivers are going to be playing. I don't know if they're going to need that much fuel or tires, but if they got 4 sets back there behind pit wall, that kind of splits it up nicely. But I do believe they only have 3 sets of tires in the pit. So if they pit on lap number 40 and use a set, they're down to 2. If they pit on lap 80, they're down to 1 extra set. And if they pit again at lap 120, yeah, I guess they could probably make it 3 stops, 40 laps each. 36 lap run to the end with fresh tires. That could be the strategy call here this afternoon for a lot of these cats. Maybe some of them will try to risk it for the brisket and maybe try to save an extra set for later on in the afternoon if the tires don't fall off too much here in this first stage. Maybe you try to survive stage number 2 without burning a set of tires and have that extra set for late in this race to try and put yourself into a winning situation out there on the speedways. Here we go, back to green flag racing. We'll see how many laps we can get in here in this one, as down through the Geico restart zone. The 16 by Matthew Wood back on the lap battle, quickly jumps onto that gas, jumps down to that dog leg. We're going to see drivers using that dog leg all afternoon, trying to shorten this racetrack. And here you go, you see that 06 right, trying to slide his nose right into that battle as he slides back up in front of the 57 right. Grant Applegate. Applegate slides back into 3rd here on that restart as Ryan Haller up into position number 4 and looking for more is Zach Glater now back into 5th as Wyatt Mickelson right there on his back bumper. Here comes Evan Stewart, that beautiful AG's Designs ride. They're in position number 7 with Nick Beatty down to his inside as the caution flag will come back out. So cautions breeding cautions here early on this afternoon, as I do believe that's our our fifth caution flag already in this race. A lot of yellows here to start this evening, and it looks like Jaden Porter going to run into some issues here himself in that Sim Racing Center ride. Him and Jason Bogart going to make some contact. Joe David's going to follow the 74 right down onto the apron there. As let's take a look here and see, as again just looks like the 17 of Jason Bogart just going to get a little bit loose here. He starts to wash down the racetrack. Unfortunately, nowhere to go as the 74 comes in, T-bones him, then gets some help with the 6 ride, who ends up following him down there, shoving him even farther into that corner 1 and 2 infield wall. And then we see a little farther down the racetrack the 00 ride of Michael Durham Jr. going to run into problems here, as well as Michael up on the high side here has the flex steel car right in front of him. He gets a big run, gets his back bumper, unfortunately just loses that rear end, slides down the racetrack, comes back out onto the racing surface and stops there on the racetrack, and that's where we see that yellow flag fly. So with the 00 going around, a little bit of a lifesaver right there for the 6 of Joe David, as he'll be able to get some repairs to his car. Jaden Porter able to come down pit side and get some repairs to his Sim Racing Center number 74 ride. So a couple good breaks out there for a couple of those drivers that got collected in that first incident until Michael Durham Jr. went around. We were going to see that caution flag, but that yellow flag may have just saved them out there for having to make a green flag pit stop, as that means another restart on the horizon here as the 16 of Matthew Wood out in front. He leads the way here this afternoon. Caleb Sick there in second. Grant Applegate back in position at number 3 as we'll get ready for another big restart. Haller on the move to the front of the field here now. Haller's gotten the nickname Haller on the Hauler, and the last few races here in this series, he's been very, very strong. We saw his teammate pick up a big win last weekend for Wyatt Mickelson. Maybe it's the turn for the 23 or Ryan Haller to find his way down into victory lane here this afternoon, as he's showing that he's got a pretty strong car, and if he can maybe get some fresh air, some clean air under the nose of this Xfinity 10G network machine, maybe he can put himself into victory lane this evening. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. So there goes the caution lights. That means we are into 1 lap to go here before going back to green flag racing. And already these laps clicking down halfway through stage number 1. So stage number 1 could be a bit of a shootout here down to the end, especially if we see a couple more caution flags. Could definitely make this a short run in stage number 1, and that could really sway drivers to try to take a little bit more of a gamble there in stage number 2. Maybe not electing to burn a set of tires early on in this race, maybe try to save a set back there behind pit wall for later on. So we'll have to wait and see who makes these calls, who ends up coming down pit road at that stage break, or if other drivers have already came down pit road, maybe use a set of tires here trying to help themselves out. But I don't think the tires are going to make that huge of a difference here with how many caution flags we've got. These drivers really have been burnt up too much of their equipment under the green flag conditions, as we've been under caution here for a lot of this first 20 laps. Here we go, back to green flag racing. Another big restart right there, unfortunately for Ryan Haller. Not the start that he was hoping for. Falls back there, unfortunately brings his teammate Wyatt Mickelson back as well, as Matthew Wood leads the way here at 57 to Grant Applegate, trying to stick right to his back bumper as he looks to clear. Then 06 of Caleb Sick once again down the back straightaway, as here comes Zach Claytor. Claytor up into position number 4 is a little bit of a bump right there, getting Applegate up the racetrack. Applegate goes up towards the outside fence, unfortunately falls back a couple spots right there as he got the bump and run from Caleb Sick. Sick already early in this race, not scared to use that front bumper and move these drivers out of the way. And for Applegate, he may have to keep that in the back of his memory book here. He may have to think of that one late in the race if the opportunity comes and presents itself to maybe get a little payback in there on the racetrack. Not going to be very happy about that move, especially this early in the race, as in front it's Matthew Wood who continues to lead the way. Now starting to open up a bit of a gap between himself and that 06 ride of Caleb Sick. Zach Claytor back there in third with Evan Stewart now into position number 4 and looking for more. Applegate, Ryan Haller, Brian Underwood are top 7 out there on the racetrack in that 77, as we did see Jaden Porter and Wyatt Mickelson run into some problems here. Unfortunately, both of those drivers fall deeper in the field. They're both turned around right here. No caution flag yet on the racetrack. It was down on the apron. Unfortunately, no yellow flag. Let's take a look here. That 51, Ryan just looks like he loses the rear end. He starts to go sideways, trying to get it pointed back in the right direction. Chewy's going to come in, take him out right there. Heavy contact, nowhere to go for Jaden Porter, nowhere to go for Reese Kelva. As they all slam in together, you do see Joe David get into the safer barriers there on pit entry as well. And for these drivers, some pretty solid contact, some pretty solid issues out there early on in this race. And unfortunately, we did see a bunch of them come down pit road, including that 51 of Wyatt Mickelson, Joe David down pit road, Reese Kelva back down pit side. Jaden Porter, he kept on rolling, has some pretty heavy front end damage here as we keep it clean and green out there on the speedways. The 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood leading the way here in this one. Zach Clanter there in second. Grant Applegate back in position number 3. Then we see Caleb Sick there in 4th here as he has now fallen back into that 4th position. Once again, back behind that Red Bull number 57 of Grant Applegate with Evan Stewart trying to hang on to that 5th position. Ryan Haller working down to his inside. Haller looking to try to take the 5th spot away from him here on the racetrack. Haller is shown quite a bit of speed out of his 23 ride. Didn't get the great restart there that he was hoping for. Restarting in that 4th position. Fell back about 4 or 5 spots, but battled back now again inside the top 5. So he's on the move back towards the front of the field. Stewart right there in 6 as Brian Underwood now to his back bumper. Here comes Nick Biddy. Trenton Johns there in position number 9. And Zach Perry once again rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack as Perry, even with his front end damage after going around down there through corner 1 and 2. And he's been battling his way back up through the field here. Same with Aiden Lucas, who sits there at 11th. Michael Durham Jr. after going around himself there in position number 12. And Logan Perriman, who's gotten tied up in a couple of these caution flags. And that 99 rolls there in 13th. Jason Bogart in that Flex Seal number 17. They're in the 14th position with Ethan Greek back there in that best friend, the rest in peace Chewy Carr there with some front end damage as he got collected in that latest spin. That wasn't a caution flag. Now just trying to survive to the end of this stage is Nick Jensen there in the 42. Michael Ponder Jr. there in 17th. Jaden Porter back in 18th on the racetrack with Keegan Huey. They're in 19th, and now Huey, I do believe, is only 1 lap down here, and another caution flag or this stage break could potentially put him back onto the lead lap and back into contention here this afternoon. A good break there for the Ferguson 38 ride. Thought his night was done pretty early on, and luckily enough able to battle back. A lot of these caution flags giving him some waiver rounds and getting him back into the action as Joe David now a couple laps down back there in 20th. Same with Wyatt Mickelson in that HendrickCars.com number 51 ride. Reese Calva still down pit side in that Camaro as that Prestige Enterprises number 4 ride down pit side. Tough break there for Reese to start this afternoon as out in front, having a great race so far. It's Matthew Wood. Wood with a 2-second lead now between himself and Grant Applegate. Applegate back up into second after getting that bump and run from the 0-6 of Caleb Sick. Sick back into third. Here is Zach Claytor now into position number 4, and Ryan Haller starting to push the subject here, looking to see if he can make up another spot here, maybe put that 23 up and into position number 4 on the speedway as some great racing action all around the speedway. These drivers doing a great job finally getting some good green flag laps in here. Now we could have went to the caution flag there potentially for that issue with Ethan Greek and Joe David, Wyatt Mickelson, Jaden Porter, and Reese Kelva. Definitely could have caused a caution flag. Unfortunately for those drivers, every one of them that stopped on the racetrack was down on the apron. If they would have stopped on the racing surface, it probably would have been a yellow flag, but they were down on the apron and we were able to keep it clean and green, and that means we inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 1. And stage 1 will come to a close here at lap number 40. The completion of lap number 40 will be the end of our first stage of the day, where we'll hand out some bonus points and a bonus point as well to our driver that wins the stage, getting that 1 extra point in the playoffs that'll carry through each and every one of our rounds. So being able to win these races, win these stages, can definitely help you out a ton in your hunt for picking up the championship here in the inaugural season of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League Cup Series. As right there, you do see that 16 right on Matthew Wood starting to put the pressure here on Jaden Porter. Porter trying to keep himself on the lead lap here, and for Keegan Huey, this is a tough break for him. If he sees that number 74 car go a lap down, that'll take him out of that free pass position here at the stage break. So Jaden Porter may want to try to put up a fight, but nope, looks like he is going to fall a lap down there to the 16 line, and Jaden Porter will now be in that lucky dog spot on the speedway. So that's a good break for him. At least he can try to race his way back onto the lead lap here, as long as Matthew Wood doesn't lap any more drivers here in front of him, and he could potentially keep that number 38 of Keegan Huey a lap down back there in position number 19. So a tough break there for the 38 ride, but a good break for that 74, is that he can get back onto the lead lap here, and potentially only a couple more laps is down across the line. They will click off lap 36, and we get about 4 laps left to go here in stage number 1. And some smoke there in front of our race leader. Looks like things are staying clean and green. No caution flags there, as Nick Jensen looked like he kind of ran into some problems here. Let's take a look back and see what happens to that 42 right, as the John Deere machine just sliding down through the dog leg right there, getting bent out of shape and making hard contact there with that outside fence, and that hard contact with the inside fence as well. Heavy damage on both sides for that John Deere Toyota, the 42. Going to take his car right down pit side, and for Nick Jensen, that's unfortunately going to put him multiple laps down. Now scored back in 19th, and probably going to fall even farther back here as he's still down on pit lane. A heartbreaker there for him, as Matthew Wood out in front, leading the way. It's Applegate back there in position number 2. The gap is 2.7 seconds here. So racing with a breeze right now, and not having too much of a sweat working out in front here for that 16 right on Matthew Wood, as he continues to open up that lead, continues to pull away, knows that this stage is going to end here in a couple laps, so probably not going to push that car too hard, just going to try to take it nice and easy, staying breezy there at the front of the field, and can send it onto cruise control to pick up stage win number 1 this afternoon. Nice and easy down through corner number 3 and out at corner number 4. He will head down and across the start finish line here, and this will start our final lap of stage number 1. So Wood looking to get it done here in this first stage. Even with a caution flag, he will be crowned our stage 1 winner, unless if he's a part of that caution flag. But that 16 ride just holding a pretty wheel at the front of the field, just rolling out there on the speedway, not taking it too hard out there, even giving up some time here to Grant Applegate. Is Applegate trying to hunt him down? The gap is less than a second and a half, but he knows he can just cruise right down to the checkered flag here and know that he can pick up stage win number 1. There you go. He's going to get it in. I do believe Jaden Porter is going to race his way back onto the lead lap right there, as well as he kind of checked up that allowed that 74 ride to race his way back onto the lead lap. Now, we'll have to wait and see if that's how they score it. It looks like that's how it is scored for Jaden Porter back on the lead lap. That's a big break, as now Keegan Huey will get that free pass, the lucky dog. And for Huey, that could put him back into contention here this evening. And that's a good break there for him, as he'll get the lucky dog, the free pass back onto the lead lap. For Matthew Wood, a very solid run for him there in that first stage, able to hit those restarts perfectly. It'll keep all these drivers back there at bay and just kind of coast down to the checkered flag there for the end of stage number 1. Now it's game time decisions here for a lot of these drivers. What do? Do you come down pit side? Do you kind of split this race up into about 4 different sections, or do you stay out, try to get some fuel? Nope, it looks like they're coming down pit road. So everyone coming down pit lane here in this one. So all these drivers, all the lead lap cars, they are headed down pit side. They're going to look to get some fuel, some tires, and roll back out there onto the speedways. You do see that number 38 of Keegan Huey. He's going to stay out there, as he's going to be our lucky dog. He's going to get the free pass back onto the lead lap here. Good break there for that 38 ride. Is we do see Nick Jensen also right there as well. He's looking for the wave around, trying to get a lap back. Same with Wyatt Mickelson and Joe David. So they're going to take the wave arounds here themselves, get back a lap at least, and hoping that they can slowly but surely race their way back onto the lead lap here this evening. As Wood down in that first pit stall, everyone's getting jacked up, but it looks like the 57 Ryan going to take a 2-tire pit stop right there, and he's going to roll out with the race lead. And here comes the 16, Matthew Wood. He'll come out in second, the 06 back there in third. So a bit of a pit road call right there, a little bit of strategy out of that Red Bull Chevrolet. Grant Applegate trying the 2-tire strat here early on this afternoon. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to work out for him, or if that's going to hurt him here this evening, as Applegate not taking 4 tires, where everyone else back there behind him definitely took those 4 tires, and we'll have to wait and see how they hang on, how they're going to work out for him. He is going to have that clean air, that track position. He's going to be that control car for the restart, so that could really work in his favor, but we'll have to wait and see how long that car can hang on to position number 1 here this afternoon, as Wood will start to his outside. Caleb Sick there to his back bumper. Zach Glater, Brian Underwood going to be our top 5 here for the restart. Ryan Haller back in 6th with Nick Biddy there in 7th. Aiden Lucas, Evan Stewart, and Michael Durham Jr. rounding out our top 10 in that 0-0 ride. As Logan Taylor says, let's go Ethan. Greek cheered on Ethan out there on the speedway. Is Ethan in that beautiful looking ride again? Rest in peace, Chewy, as he's got that Chewy car painted up, looking beautiful out there on the speedway. And our hearts and prayers go out to the Greek family and the loss of their pet, their best friend, Chewy. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace, Chewy. 2011 to 2025, 14 years of life, man. It's a good life for a dog, man. 14 years. What is that in dog years? Times that by 7 is, I don't even know. What is that? It's 7 times 10 is 70. So 7 times 14 is, I don't even know. 98 years, something like that. 98 years, 96 years, something like that. That's a long life in dog years, man. That's a long life, a good life. And I'm sure filled with love and happiness and everything else as we are back to green flag racing. But it won't last for long, as the green flag came out, the caution flag right back into the air. As unfortunately this time it's Evan Stewart who's going to run into problems here on the restart. Heavy damage here to that AG's Designs Auto Clinic number 37 machine. Let's see if we can take a look back and see what happens here, as not sure if he gets some help here or if just hitting that apron kind of just gets him bent out of shape. As we'll take another look back at it, see what happens, as he's going to fire off. Good start right there. Quickly jumps down to the dog leg, and it looks like just that conversion. Oh, man, he ends up hitting that pit wall. That's a big hit right there. It's a heavy hit, and you see that damage there. 98 years. Yeah, 98 years there for dog years. That's a long life. But taking a look back at it here, you'll watch this 37 ride. We talked about it at the top of the show. Taking this dog leg, it seems like it is a good way around the racetrack, but a lot of times you see these drivers, they just kind of lose them, man. These cars, they bounce around, they hop around down there. It's a lot of dirty stuff, a lot of dirt and grime and everything else down there on the apron. It's not as clean as the racing surface, and unfortunately we've seen a few drivers already find that out and unfortunately run into problems there, as unfortunately for the 37, he finds it the hard way, goes around there on that dog leg and into that inside wall. And man, that's a heavy hit right there for that 37 machine of Evan Stewart. He's going to head down pit side, try to get that car fixed up and back out there onto the racetrack as Grant Applegate leads the way. We did see Caleb Sick able to take position number 2 away from Matthew Wood there on that restart, as he was able to jump on that restart with the 57 ride, clear that 16 down through 1 and 2 before that caution flag was thrown. So Wood will slide back to 3rd, and Zach Clater, Nick Biddy, Brian Underwood, Ryan Haller, Aiden Lucas, Michael Durham Jr., and Trent Johns rounds out our top 10 out there on the speedway. And it's Jimmy 6 times. What's good, Josh? Josh coming in showing the love, says PSCRL is here, baby. Let's go. Let's go, baby. The Premium Stock Car Racing League coming in showing the love here in this one, as we do see a lot of our majority of our Premium Stock Car Racing League drivers out there on the racetrack here. No Noah Blackwell. He did jump out there for practice, but not out there for this race, and we didn't see Dylan Carrier out there either, so we're missing a couple of our Premium Stock Car Racing League drivers. Is Lonnie Carly coming in showing the love, says let's go Bogart. Cheered on Bogart out there on the speedway, as Jason Bogart currently right now running in the 12th position on the racetrack here, getting ready for a big restart here, as he'll try to work his way inside the top 10. That beautiful Flex Seal 17 ride back there, a little deeper in the field as we get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one, as here we go. Corner number 3 and out of 4 down into the Geico restart zone. Grant Applegate will see that green flag fly here once again at Phoenix Raceway. leads quickly. He jumps onto the lap pedal now. He is on that two-tire strategy. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out for him. His contact back there behind him. Matthew Wood leaning on that 06 of Caleb Sick. Sick in the 16, door-to-door, down into corner number 1. They're still door-to-door, down through 2, but it looks like the 16 may be able to clear him here. They're still door-to-door, though, down into corner number 3. We'll have to wait and see if they lean on each other a little bit more. Sick not wanting to give up that second spot. Matthew Wood, though, our early race leader, he led virtually the first 40 laps of this race in winning that first stage of the afternoon. He rolls there in position number 3. Now we'll have to wait and see if he can race his way back up to the top spot. As you see Applegate up the racetrack right there, really opens up that bottom groove, allowing these drivers to reel right into his back bumper. As Applegate on a totally different strategy, the two-tire strat. It may work late in this race. It may work for a green-white checker. And if he has that extra set of tires left over here late in the race, maybe it'll put himself into victory lane and leapfrog everybody. But for right now, it is probably not the best call, and he's going to probably find out the hard way. He's going to slide backwards, but able to save that extra 2 tires back there behind pit wall for late in this race. Now he does bounce it off the outside fence. As Sick takes that race lead away, and we get a new race leader here at Phoenix Raceway. So Caleb Sick out in front, leading the way. It's Matthew Wood trying to take that race lead back away from him here. Wood trying some different grooves out there on the speedway. That time stays on the racing surface up on the high side. Looking for a big run down through corner number 1 and out of 2. He's going to look to carry all that momentum. Cross back down underneath that 06 ride. They'll go door-to-door once again back down into corner number 3. As Wood and Sick duking it out here for the race lead. Sick back down low. Goes for the crossover. Quickly clears that 16 ride, and he'll jump back to the race lead. A great battle here out in front of the field as Caleb Sick and Matthew Wood duking it out, and quickly closing in on that battle is this 34 ride of Aiden Lucas. Lucas back there in position number 3, trying to rebound after an early slide himself. He's there in position number 3 as Nick Biddy up and into 4th. Brian Underwood there in 5th as Zach Laker, Michael Durham Jr., Grant Applegate, who's on that 2-tire strategy, back into 8th as he's got Ryan Haller and Zach Perry now looking to his outside. Here comes Jason Bogart as well as look out the 23 of Ryan Haller getting very loose there through the middle of that dog leg. Looking up, catches that car, keeps it rolling, stays in that 10th position, but Bogart right there on his back bumper. As here comes Trent Johns as well in that number 2. Ethan Greek back there in that 13th position. Logan Perriman, Evan Stewart. Our top 15 out there on the racetrack is Jaden Porter, Michael Ponder Jr., Keegan Huey, Joe David, Wyatt Mickelson, Nick Jensen, and Reese Kelva bringing up the rear of the field here this afternoon. As Matthew Wood able to take that race lead once again away from that 06 of Caleb Sick. Sick trying to hang on to that car and stay in position number 2 here, but Matthew Wood, he saw it during that first run. He was able to run away with it. He was able to put himself out in front and keep all these drivers back there at bay. Now having a little bit more of a difficult time trying to keep these drivers back there as that 06 all over his back bumper here. He's been able to take that race lead away from him, battling hard with him, door-to-door, exchanging slide jobs and crossovers. And for right now, the 16 machine just trying to keep these guys back there at bay. As Jimmy Six Time says, let's go Brian, and pace car driver Matthew. Yes, Matthew for the Premium Stock Car Racing League, and no longer a driver out there on the racetrack battling on a weekly basis, but he is out there on the racetrack on a weekly basis as our Premium Stock Car Racing League pace car driver. Now, obviously under the pace laps, not getting the full experience, but here tonight he is getting that full experience back behind the wheel of a race car and battling for the race win here again this afternoon in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. As Ramrod says 1776. Let's go. Cheered on that 1776 Motorsports rides out there on the speedway. Is Zach Perry back there in that 8th position, trying to get his Busch Latte ride back up towards the front of the field here. Ran into some early troubles himself, but rebounding nicely, getting that car fixed up and back into contention here this afternoon. As Mike's Diecast says, it's no longer afternoon, bro. It's nighttime. I guess it's nighttime. I guess it's 8:45 on the it's still afternoon. It's still afternoon technically. It's afternoon until it's morning, and then it's before noon, right? So it's still technically the afternoon, Mike. That's the way it goes, brother. That's the way it goes. It is afternoon. It is dusk. It is definitely nighttime, I guess. I guess it's not quite summertime yet, where we see that sunlight stay out till 9:30 at night Eastern time. It's a little darker out there. As Matthew Wood continuing to lead the way, he's out in front, and Caleb Sick right there in second. Aiden Lucas hanging on to position number 3, but he's got Brian Underwood right there behind him. As Underwood back there in position number 4 and looking for more in that bang number 77 line. This second stage running a lot more smoothly than what we saw there in stage number 1. Stage 1, we saw what, 5-6 caution flags. Here in stage number 2, we have been off to a wicked pace here. Drivers laying down some good green flag laps. It's great to see these drivers being able to get some green flag laps underneath their belt. Really start to see these drivers in their setups start to work towards the front of the field here. When you look back there, you see Michael Durham Jr. starting to race his way towards the front. Zach Perry up there as well. And then we start to see, drivers on different strategies like Grant Applegate, who's trying to hang on to that car with the 2-tire pit stop, rolling there in position number 10. And also, I think what messes with me a little bit when I say afternoon, it's because in here, it shows that it's light outside. It's not afternoon. Afternoon ends at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. at the latest. Brother, you're wrong. Afternoon. Break it down. Afternoon, meaning after 12 p.m. So after 12 p.m. means afternoon. So anytime after 12 p.m. is afternoon. No matter which way you break it down. It could be 10:30, it could be 11:59 at night. That is still afternoon. Last normally until the start of dinner. That's up to you, brother. That's up to you, whatever you want to call it. That's up to you. And I mean, if you eat dinner at 5 or 6 p.m., I don't know what you're doing up at this late, brother. You should be going to bed right now. For young folk like me and for regular people, we stay up all night, brother. So afternoon is a wider range of times out there, and I don't know why we're talking about this. It doesn't really matter what time it is, because if they're on the racetrack, it is afternoon. To these drivers out there on the speedway enjoying the racing action, the sunlight here in Phoenix, it is still daylight. It is still race time. It is still afternoon here in Phoenix, and especially for if you're a Phoenix driver, they're technically 3 hours ahead of Eastern time, which makes it only, what time would that be, 5:48 right now? That's what Google says. I don't care what Google says. Google can suck it. Google's not right all the time, brother. Whatever you read on the internet, I mean, break it down. Afternoon, it's right there in the name. Afternoon means after 12 p.m. Afternoon is afternoon. That is all that matters. As out in front, continuing to lead the way, it's the 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood out in front, showing these drivers the way. As Caleb sit back there in position number 2. Aiden Lucas there in third. As there is Brian Underwood still in position number 4. Zach Claytor trying to hang on to that 5th position as he started to get a little hassle and a little bit of pressure there on his back. Fuck off. Who is this Mike guy? Get the fuck out of here. You must be a Trump person. I am a Trump person, but that has nothing to do with it, you fucking loser. Get the fuck out of here. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, dude? Get the fuck on, bro. Who is this guy? Who is this guy, bro? Get the fuck out of here. Piss off, you bot. As Matthew Wood continuing to lead the way, Caleb Sick there in second. Aiden Lucas in position number 3 with Brian Underwood and Zach Claytor. Our top 5 out there on the racetrack. Michael Durham Jr. in position number 6 with Zach Perry back there in 7th. Nick Biddy in position number 8 with William Bogart there in 9th. And Trent Johns rounding out our top 10. As Jordan Hand says, laugh out loud. Jimmy 6 times mega, baby. Mega. Listen. Right wing, baby, all day, man. Fucking power to Trump. Do what you need to do. End government corruption. Get the fucking libtards out of power. Get them out of there. I'm sorry, there's 2 genders. And, brother, yeah, I'm sorry. Only women play women's sports. And there's only 2 genders. Sorry about your fucking luck, but that's the way it's worked forever, and that's the only way it works, is you're born with an XY chromosome or XX chromosome. Anything else, or you call it anything else, you're just got some mental fucking issues. That's all it is, baby. As Jimmy 6 times says, he must be Trump. He must be Trump. I am Trump. I am Trump, baby. As Original Dane says, pulling for those AG Motorsports boys, cheering on those AG rides out there on the speedway. As we We already saw Jaden Porter unfortunately run into some issues, but hanging tough out there, still has a little bit of damage there to that Sim Racing Center 74 ride, but they're in position number 15. Evan Stewart also running into some problems here. He's got that car somewhat repaired, still some pretty heavy damage on that 37 ride, but rolls there in position number 12 as the caution flag does come back out. Caleb Sick this time going to run into some issues. One of our front runners, the 06, having some issues out there on the speedway all by himself here. Just looks like the rear rank starts to kick out on him. He tries to save it, unfortunately, he just shoots down the racetrack in hard contact down into that inside wall. Heavy damage there for that 06 machine as Caleb Sick. That car is definitely feeling sick right now as he is running into major problems here. Definitely not the way he wanted this one to go. He was rolling in position number 2. Just lose that rear end, and that's how quickly your day can go from good to bad out there on the speedway. The 06 ride, heartbreak here in this one as he's going to have to try to get that car repaired, try to get some laps back, and try to battle back in this race as he is now down pit side, towed that car down pit road, and he may be down there for an extended period of time and going multiple laps down as we do see Grant Applegate making his way back down pit side. Here comes Evan Stewart. He's looking to get some repairs done to that 37 ride. Same with Logan Perriman there in the 99 as he'll look to get his car fixed up. Michael Ponder Jr., he's also headed down pit road in that 22, and Joe David also heading back down pit side in that 6 machine. So some drivers coming down pit road here looking to get some service, looking to get their cars worked on and hopefully repaired and back out there onto the racetrack and see if they can battle their way back up towards the front of the field, especially when you look back there at Grant Applegate. Applegate battled up inside that top 2 or 3 pretty much throughout the entirety of that first stage, and then all of a sudden taking that 2-tire stop, he was able to lead some laps. He was able to hang out front there for a little while, but I think he realized that strategy just really wasn't going to pay off for him, and he now takes that 57 down pit side, looking to try to rebound and race his way back up towards the front of the field. His stage at number 2 going to end here very shortly as Jimmy Sixtime says he's in freaking Canada. Laugh out loud. I am in Canada. I'm still a Trump supporter though, 100%. And Pierre Poilievre, I hope he's doing exactly what Trump is doing, man. Get rid of the corruption, get rid of the taxes. Smaller government is less government, and that's always a good thing. We shouldn't be governing everything that we do in our day-to-day basis, man, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And you know what? Tariff Canada, tariff U.S., I don't give a shit what the tariffs do, man. If everyone just got on the same page and everyone just worked together, there'd be 0 tariffs all around, and we'd all be making lots of money. But you tariff U.S., the U.S. is going to tariff you back. If we cut our tariffs against them, they'll cut the tariffs against us. Works pretty easy, doesn't it? It's pretty easy to figure that one out. So, you know, sorry. If you guys are liberals and you don't like Trump, I mean, I bet your luck. I mean, it's just what you're going to have to deal with for the next 4 years. And by the sounds of it, I don't know. There's been some questions about if he can run for a 3rd term. I know it's probably not going to happen, but if there's a way that he can, I'm sure he's going to make it happen. I mean, look at Obama. He's ran for about 4 or 5 of them now, hasn't he? Something like that, being in power or having his hands up Biden's butthole. But here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. Matthew Wood out in front, continuing to lead the way. He's looking to try to sweep these stages. Looking to sweep stage 1 and 2 here this afternoon with the wheel-to-wheel racing league. As Matthew Wood quickly back onto the lap pedal will lead us back into corner number 1 as Aiden Lucas and Brian Underwood. Door 2, Doris, look out, slideways down through corner 1 and 2. Michael Durham Jr. in the 00 slides back out onto the racetrack. There's the caution flag. Caution flag going to come back out as Nick Biddy and Michael Durham Jr. go for a slide down there through the first set of quarters here this afternoon. Let's take a look and see how this all got started, and maybe a little contact here between the two of them, and that's exactly what we see. Nick Biddy and the 00 come together right there. Biddy trying to get down low out into the way, and then you see, oh man, Haller doing a great job being able to get onto the binders up the racetrack there. Applegate doing a good job as well, not taking out the 23 rider, getting collected there himself as they move up and out of the way of these two drivers there. they continue to slide down through corner number 2. And for the double zero, unfortunately comes back up the racetrack. Luckily enough, avoids running into anybody else. He got very, very close there to taking out Wyatt Mickelson. Luckily enough, they're able to avoid him and keep on rolling. And a quick caution flag, a quick cleanup, and we'll get these drivers ready to go back to battle, ready to go back to work here this afternoon, as that's going to bring us a little closer here to the end of this stage. We should have a couple lap shootout here to end stage number 2 this afternoon. So this is going to get a little intense. It's going to get a little wild out there on the racetrack. Who's going to be able to make the move? Who's going to be able to try to put themselves into the top spot here? Maybe trying to steal this stage away from that 16 ride. Can Aiden Lucas find the extra gear to jump up there and steal it? Can we see Brian Underwood or Zach Claytor, maybe Zach Perry back there in that 1776 Motorsports Busch Latte ride find his way up there into the top spot this afternoon? As man, so far some great laps, some good times out there being laid out by these drivers. A lot of fast cats, a lot of very solid drivers that continue to battle out there on the speedway, continue to keep looking to make sure that they race their way to the front of the field. And it's going to get interesting here the later and later we go, when we start to see some of this pit strategy really start to take more of a shape out there. Having these first 2 stages kind of locks everybody into that same kind of strategy out there. We saw everyone come down pit side on lap number 40, get fuel, get tires, so we're probably going to see everyone come back down on lap number 80. Do the same thing here at the end of this stage. Obviously, there's a couple of drivers that have already made those pit stops, like Grant Applegate, who may try to stay out and leapfrog everybody, or Evan Stewart as well in the 37 ride. Maybe even Joe David now, after coming down pit road on lap number 70. He's back onto the lead lap. Maybe he takes that strategy here at the end of stage number 2, trying to put himself into the top spots here this afternoon for the start of stage number 3. So it's gonna be a little interesting. It's gonna be a little bit back and forth, but then when we kind of see that final stage come underway, especially if we can see some long green flag runs when drivers have to make those green flag pit stops there during this final stage, could definitely really mix things up. It's tough to get down pit road here. It's tough not to speed around this big, long pit road. So drivers could get penalties. One simple penalty could end your chances, could end your night in a quick hurry and keep you from finding victory lane. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as Matthew Wood getting ready to go back to green flag racing down through corner number 3 and out of 4, down through the Geico restart zone. He will see that green flag fly here once again at Phoenix Raceway. A great jump right there for him, and it's going to bring Brian Underwood right there with him, is unfortunately not the restart Aiden Lucas was looking for. Lucas quickly slides back into position number 6 here, and you do see Grant Applegate already racing his way up into position number 5. Here towards the end of stage number 2, he's going to be able to survive and maybe find himself some stage points here. As down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4, a couple car length lead back down across the line. Lap 78 will get clicked off the board. Lap 79 up and onto the board. A couple laps left here in stage number 2. Stage number 2 quickly coming to an end as Underwood trying to hunt down that 16. Zach Perry up and into 3rd as Applegate has made the move around Ryan Haller for position number 4. Applegate does have the fresher tires than everyone here in front of him, and he's looking to maybe try to save them, but also at the same point in time maybe use them and gain some extra points here on the evening and try to move himself into position number 3 here on the racetrack. Is down low, he jumps the dog leg, pulls up door to door and actually clears that 76 of Zach Perry, just showing you how good those new tires are compared to the old tires. And Applegate, who just laid the quickest lap of this race, back there in position number 3. Now down to the inside, looking to make the move around that 77 of Brian Underwood for position number 2 as Matthew Wood down across the line will click off lap number 80, and that will end the stage. So the stage is going to come to a close, and winning the first 2 stages of the evening is that Racers for Christ, number 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood able to get it done there, win that second stage as Applegate able to race his way back up through the field there and steal position number 2. What a run and what a move there for that 57 ride as Brian Underwood back in position number 3. Zach Perry there in 4th with Ryan Haller rounding out our top 5 there in that second stage. Aiden Lucas, Zach Claytor, William Jason Bogart there in 8th. Then we see Trent Johns there in 9th, and Ethan Greek in that best friend, that Chewy ride, there in position number 10. Jaden Porter, Michael Durham Jr., Nick Biddy, Evan Stewart, Logan Perriman rounding out our top 15 with Keegan Huey, Joe David, Michael Potter Jr., Wyatt Mickelson, Nick Jensen, Caleb Sick, and Reese Kelva rounding out our field here this afternoon. As everyone comes down pit side except for this 99 ride, Logan Perriman, he stays out here. So playing that strategy game for the Sprite 99 ride, Perriman stays out there on the racetrack, does not come back down pit road. Now that's going to be a very interesting call here, especially as we see this 57, a Grant Applegate, coming back down pit lane here himself. So some different strategies being played here this evening, as it looks like Grant's going to come down, get fuel only, as he's already got those fresh tires on the 57. You will roll back out there onto the racetrack. So strategy calls starting to be made out there. Drivers trying to figure out what they need to do and how they need to try to find their way into victory lane here this evening, as we'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle here in just a few more moments. This is my boy Crank Michael Deacon coming in with that like on the stream. Playford Sheets coming in as well with that thumbs up on the broadcast, as we'll get ready to set these drivers loose. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. The green flag about to come back out here this afternoon, and we'll get ready to set these drivers loose. We'll get ready to go back to battle here in this one, as, woo, baby, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be interesting to see here, and see if these drivers can try to find their way back up and around and put themselves back up into victory lane here this afternoon, as it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting to see what these drivers are going to be able to do, how they're going to be able to navigate through some of the traffic here, how the different strategies are going to play out here on the evening, and who will put themselves up and into victory lane here in this one. As, I don't know, this is going to play out very, very wild, man. This is going to play out very interesting. It's going to be pretty funny to see kind of what's going to go on, how these drivers are going to be able to figure out their way back to the front of the field. You look at that 16 ride of Matthew Wood, who was our race leader, won those first couple stages. He's going to be restarting back there in that 5th position, so he's going to have his hands full trying to find his way back up to the front of the field here, and potentially could run into some issues. He's going to have to try to make some moves and try to find his way around these drivers, as it's going to be a lot tougher, man. These guys aren't going to just let him by. They're going to battle hard with them. They're going to rub and scrub with them. They're not going to let him just jump back out in front and run away with this win, as we'll get him ready to go back to battle. Here in this one is down through corner number 4. And we got go restarts on the 99 rider Logan Perriman. Back onto the left pedal. Here we go. The 16 rider Matthew Wood. He's got those fresh tires. Quickly jumps down to the inside. Already clears one car. Looking to clear the second car and put himself back up into 3rd. As Applegate leads the way down through 1 and 2. Everyone back there in tow as they're 2, 3, 4 wide down through corner 1 and 2 on the racetrack. They go back to double final down here into corner number 3 as Logan Perriman trying to hold on to that second spot. Matthew Wood, though, right there, ready to try to already take over position number 2 on the speedway. As Perriman in the 77 made a little contact there down through the dog leg. You do see that 16 able to find enough speed to slide back up into second. Now you see the 99 gets up into the outside fence as the caution flag will fly here again on the racetrack. So cautions, breeding cautions here again, and this time looks like potentially Ethan Greek gonna run into some issues here. The 3 ride a little deeper in the field in that Chewy machine. Oh man, maybe the same issue again, maybe some help this time, I'm not sure. It's, yeah, just coming down onto the apron right there, unfortunately just loses the handle of that car, ends up into the inside wall. Heavy contact there for him. Luckily enough, everyone able to avoid him and avoid additional contact and carnage out there on the speedway. But for that Chewy machine, definitely not the way he wanted things to go this afternoon. So let's jump on board here with him. You see this car as he rolls out at corner number 4. He's got some good speed. He's catch up to the back bumper of the 17. Tries to cut down through the dog leg, and you see those couple little bit of humps and bumps right there. It just unsells the race car, loses that rear end, and goes around, and it's so easy to do here at the Phoenix Raceway, and unfortunately we've seen a few drivers already run into that problem a couple times already for that 3-rider Ethan Greek, and now down pit road looking to really get that car repaired, having to use some extensive repairs and maybe his quick repair to try to get that car back into one piece as he rolls back out there onto the racetrack, back in the 18th position now. So tough break there for him, as out in front Grant Applegate continuing to lead the way, but Matthew Wood now into position number 2 here. We're going to see this different strategy and how it's going to work out for Applegate, hoping that these tires kind of cool down, hoping that they kind of balance out here and keep Matthew Wood maybe at bay, back in position number 2. As Logan Perriman hangs on to 3rd, that's 77 to Brian Underwood back in 4th. Trent Johns up inside the top 5 now on the racetrack is Ryan Haller, Michael Durham Jr., Aiden Lucas, Zach Perry, and Jason Bogart up inside the top 10, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll here once again here this evening, and we'll get ready to duke it out here again and see, you know what craziness we can run into again out there on the racetrack. We've already seen quite a bit of issues out there for these drivers. Is it more of the same? Do we see maybe another big pileup? Do we see some good green flag laps being laid down? Do we see them run clean and green to the checkered flag? Anything is possible here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, and we're about to find out what's going to happen as the lights once again back off the official iRacing pace car, and we will get ready to go back to battle. So Grant Applegate getting ready for another big restart here. He is the control car as our race leader. He gets to fire first. He gets to navigate and choose basically when he wants to fire down there through that Geico restart zone. Now you want to try to keep these drivers on their toes and try to play a little bit of cat and mouse game down there. Maybe fire right early one lap, going a little later in the box on the next lap, or trying to go in the middle, or just somewhere where you kind of catch them sleeping a little bit. Matthew Wood, he's very, very good at judging on these restarts. So for Applegate, it's going to be a tough draw right here. He's going to really have to play a little strategy game here and try to fake out that 16 ride where he maybe has to hit the throttle, then roll out of the throttle, and as soon as that driver rolls back into that throttle, that's when you go. So that's exactly what I think we're going to see out of this 57 ride right here as he rolls down into the Geico restart zone, and as soon as he hits it, he just goes. As soon as he hits it, he hits that throttle and just jumps out in front, trying to run away from that 16 ride as quickly as possible, as Matthew trying to hunt him back down as they're 2-3 wide once again down into corner number 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Everyone trying to find their lane, everyone trying to find their way to the front of the field as Grant Applegate continues to lead the way. Wood back there in second with Underwood into position number 3. Logan Perriman back there in 4th with Ryan Haller rounding out our top 5 here on the racetrack as Andy Lucas, Trent John, Zach Perry, Michael Durham Jr., and Jason Bogart there rounding out our top 10. But look out, the 0-0 down through that dog leg, getting very sideways on the racetrack, looking enough, able to catch it, keep that car pointing the right direction, keep on rolling there on the racetrack as you see a little bit more smoke right there, a couple more drivers running into issues, but we keep it clean and green on the speedway. As Aiden Lucas trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field. Here comes that 1776 pride of Zach Perry right there, as well as the 23-year-old Ryan Haller trying to race his way up to the front of the pack here in this race, as well as again there 2-3 wide down into corner number 1. Some tight racing here at Phoenix as we'll jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, as the caution flag comes back out here in this one. 4 issues here for a couple of these drivers out there on the racetrack, as another quick caution flag will bring a close to our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here this evening. As we'll get ready to take a look back and see what happens, we do see these drivers head back down pit road. Everyone using this opportunity to make a pit stop here as they're virtually within their pit window here, where this could be potentially their final pit stop of the day. As we'll get ready to take a look and see where these drivers will come out, we'll take a look back and see what brings us under this caution flag here, as we didn't really see much of anything happen. The caution flag does come out. Now, I'm not sure what this yellow flag was for. Potentially Michael Durham Jr. running into some issues here in the 00. There's the 74 ride right there. Jaden Porter goes for a slide, I do believe, right there at the flag stand, and that's where we see that yellow flag does get displayed, as the 74 pointed the wrong direction there on the racetrack. That's where we see that yellow flag come out. An unfortunate break there for Jaden Porter, and a quick caution flag. The officials getting a great look at that one as they were sitting right there, right at the flag stand. So our flag man wasn't going to miss that one, and quickly throws that yellow flag out as Zach Claytor will come out with the race lead here. Claytor with the quick pit stop right there, putting that 39 ride out in front. Nick Biddy now into second, as Brian Underwood back there in third. We see Aiden Lucas there in fourth. Brian Underwood up into that fourth position here, as Matthew Wood back there in position number 5 here. Matthew Wood, who was our race leader, back there in that 5th position. Applegate back to 6. Ryan Holler there in 7. Jason Bogart, Joe David, and Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10. Logan Perriman back there in 11th with Michael Durham Jr., Nick Jensen, Jaden Porter, Zach Perry, Michael Ponder Jr. back in 16th with Wyatt Mickelson there in 17th. Trent Johns back in 18th with Evan Stewart, Ethan Greek, Caleb Sick, and Reese Calva rounding out our field here this afternoon, as we'll get all these drivers ready to rock and roll, ready to go back to green flag racing. Pace cars once again off the speedway, and here we go back to green flag battle in here this afternoon, as Zach Claytor, our new race leader, he's got control for the restart. Here is down through the Geico restart zone, playing that cat and mouse game, getting the light fire right there, and unfortunately that's going to stack them all up. Everyone right there tight together, everyone looking to try to run these guys down, look to make the move to try to get back to the front of the field. For some of these cats looking to see if they can pick up this checkered flag, as the 32 does wash up the racetrack right there. Nick Biddy quickly slides all the way back into position number 7, as there goes the 23 ride of Ryan Holler, the 57 of Grant Applegate. Now he's got that 17 ride of Jason Bogart down to his inside. Zach Claytor, though, able to hang on to the race lead as he stays out in front. Here comes some pressure down to his inside as the 77 of Brian Underwood looking for that race lead. Underwood down low looking to take the race lead away, as he's going to get into the wall, and so does Matthew Wood. Heavy damage there to the right front for the 16 ride, in the fastest cat of the day out there on the speedway. The driver who was able to win our first 2 stages, Matthew Wood, now having to deal with a little bit of damage on that 16 machine, as he's now back into position number 5 here as well. Looks like the handling definitely going to be affected here, as he's dropping like a rock. There goes Ryan Holler. Applegate both able to get around him here, and he's definitely struggling. He may want another quick caution flag, as he's going to get up and scrub that wall again. Now we see the 57 of Applegate gets up into the fence, and now we see the 00 go back around. Michael Durham Jr. goes for a spin, and that will bring us under the caution flag here again this afternoon. So maybe a good break here for a couple of these drivers getting that caution flag, as there you go. You see Perriman in the 00 make a little contact, gets him sideways there. Some contact off of Joe David's ride, and around goes that 00, but at the same time we did see that 57 of Grant Applegate go for one hell of a spin here up and through quarter 1 and 2, just loses that rear end trying to find as much speed as possible, just gets in there a little too hot. Car slides sideways up the racetrack into the outside fence, and some pretty good damage there for himself as well. So for Applegate, for Matthew Wood, damage out there on the racetrack definitely going to affect their races here this afternoon, as we see Durham come back down pit side. Here comes Nick Jensen as well as the 2 ride. That's Trent Johns coming back down pit road, and we do see Matthew Wood also down pit side here. So would that damage, that contact to the outside fence, heavy enough that he has forced his hand down pit road here. Gonna have to take that pit stop and use that quick repair, try to get this car fixed up and back out there onto the racetrack. Same with Grant Applegate in that 57 ride. So that's really gonna mix things up here, as that's gonna put a couple fast drivers deeper in the field here. Even if they roll out in these top couple spots, I do believe it's gonna put Matthew Wood back into 11th as he does use that quick repair, gets that car fixed back up, back out there onto the racetrack, but now scored in that 11th position. Applegate rolls back out there. He'll be scored in position number 12. Keegan Huey there in 13th. Michael Durham Jr. still down pit side. He's going to get passed there by Nick Jensen. So Jensen will jump out onto the racetrack, scored as our 14th place driver. Michael Durham Jr. trying to get his car fixed up as Wyatt Mickelson getting the lucky dog there and back onto the lead lap. So a good break there for that 51 as Wyatt Mickelson back into the hunt here this afternoon, and that's going to be a good break here for that HendrickCars.com 51 right back into the battle. We'll see if he can try to race his way back up towards the top 10, top 5 here this evening and still be able to salvage a good day, a good points day, and earn some extra points here late in this race that potentially we're going to be off the table here this evening. But being able to get all these caution flags and all these lucky dogs, he's right back into the thick of things here this evening as Michael Durham Jr. rolls out there in that 16th position. Michael Ponder Jr., he's now scored a lap or a couple laps down back there in 17th. Same with Trent Johns back in 18th. Ethan Greig rolling back there. He's a few laps down back in 19th as Evan Stewart is taking his 37 right off the racetrack. And same with Caleb Sick, also down behind pit wall and off the speedway. And same with Reese Kelva as well. So we've lost 3 drivers here this evening. Evan Stewart, Caleb Sick, and Reese Kelva all down and out of this race. And that leaves us with 19 drivers still rolling out there on the racetrack. But we could lose even more here in the closing laps of this race. Here we go, back to green flag racing here in the wheel-to-wheel racing league, and Zach Glater will lead us down through corner number 3 and into 4 and down through that Geico research zone. He will be the control car, so he gets to fire first. He's going to play a little strategy here. He waits until they start to go. They have to roll out the throttle, not expecting him to wait that long into the box, and there he goes, getting a great jump, a great restart, able to clear that 34 ride and keep that race lead. Contact back there behind him. Look out! Applegate into the fence. Joe David around that 1776 ride of Zach Perry. Also collected here in this one as cautions, breeding cautions, and the yellow flag will come right back out here in this one. And some contact here. I'm not sure if Applegate just gets a big run in that 57 ride. Quickly closes the gap on this number 76. Gets into his back end right there. Just knocks him loose down into Joe David. They go for a slide back up the racetrack here. Now, luckily enough, everyone able to get through there without making major contact. We did see Joe David get up into the outside fence there a little bit, and unfortunately he's going to take his car right down behind pit wall. But for the 1776 ride of Zach Perry, that motorsports machine out there on the racetrack, still on the lead lap. Now that is a big break for him and not too much damage or contact for him. Grant Applegate, though, we did see get back up into the outside fence, and it looks like he's going to have to come back down pit road and get some more repairs here to his race car as he heads back down pit side, and that's going to bring that number 51 right of Wyatt Mickelson down pit side here as well. Mickelson now going to be able to use maybe a late set of tires here, maybe have fresher tires than everybody else on the racetrack, and putting those on, maybe getting that extra little bit of fuel, making sure that he is good to go to the checkered flag here this evening, and see if he can try to navigate his way up through the field and back up towards the front of the pack here. We'll see what he can do, what he's got still up his sleeve as we get them all ready to rumble here once again, ready to go back to battle here in just a few more moments after a little bit of we're going to get our intro music in here. Nice little new song here for the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, and get a quick drink in here ourselves and a quick bathroom break here before we get going back to green flag racing.
Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, pacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the ground stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checkered flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curse box, flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Will to wheel racing, the crowd stay crazy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah.
Woo! Alrighty, here we go. Back to green flag racing out there on the speedway is out in front. That 39 rider, Zach Claytor, getting ready for another big restart. Another big restart heading our way here from Phoenix Raceway. Is down through the Geico restart zone. A good launch there for the 39 with the 77 right on his back bumper as they spread out down through the dog leg here at Phoenix. And now putting the pressure on our race leader's back bumper, and slowly but surely you start to see that 16 rider, Matthew Wood, working his way back up through the field here after getting that car repaired and back into one piece here. He is just outside the top 5 and all over Nick Biddy's back bumper. As you do see some contact, look out, Jason Bogart into the inside fence right there. That's going to stack him up just outside our top 5. And luckily enough, everyone able to keep their cars pointed in the right direction. We keep it clean and green and keep on racing here. But for that 17 right, heavy front left damage there after getting into that wall. Now you see the 74 Ryan hang on to it. Jaden Porter's going to go for his Tokyo drift down here in Phoenix as he goes for a quick slide and goes around, pointed the wrong direction. No caution flag as of yet on the racetrack as he'll get that car turned back, pointed the right direction. Get rolling here once again on the speedway. No yellow flag out there on the racetrack as we'll keep it clean and green as Zach Claytor leads the way here. Aiden Lucas there in second. Matthew Wood now up into third, and look who's there in fourth. It's Ryan Holler on the hauler in that 23 right up and into position number 4 and looking for more as Nick Biddy back into position number 5. Logan Perriman there in 6 as Zach Perry, Keegan Huey, Michael Durham Jr., and Brian Underwood are top 10 here on the racetrack. Underwood sliding backwards here on that restart. Got a great restart, able to stay on the back bumper of our race leader, but now sliding backwards here in the 77 as Jason Bogart, who's not getting into that inside fence, had that issue there, and luckily enough able to keep on racing out there on the speedway. Rolls just outside the top 10, back in the 11th position, but as Wyatt Mickelson down to his inside. Mickelson making the move down to the inside here, looking to move up into 11th and trying to race his way back inside the top 10 here this afternoon as Nick Jensen scored there in 13th with Grant Applegate back in 14th. Jaden Porter once again running into some more problems. He's up into the outside fence and slow on the racetrack, and that will bring out the caution flag here once again. That's a heartbreaker right there. Everyone doing a great job, seeing some good green flag laps. And unfortunately, Jaden Porter going to run into some more issues out there on the speedway as he sends it back down into corner number 1. The rear end is going to kick out loose on him here again. He's trying to save it. All of a sudden, the car just snap hooks back up the racetrack and nose there straight into that outside fence. Heavy hit there for him. That's a tough break and a tough hit there as he gets rolling. Luckily enough, back up the racetrack here and down out of the way of everybody else. And that will set us up for another restart here on the evening. And he'll have to go to work and see if that crew can try to get that car fixed up, as it is definitely it's hurting right now. That thing is definitely hurting. Some big hits lately for that 74 ride, and he's going to come down pit side trying to get that thing figured out as we do see Zach Claytor come down pit side. So he's going to forfeit the race lead and head down pit road here himself. Same with Nick Biddy in that 32 ride. As you do see Michael Durham Jr., he's headed down pit road again. Same with Zach Perry and Grant Applegate looking to get some repairs. Jason Bogart also down pit road looking to get his car repaired again here on the racetrack. Jaden Porter, who unfortunately went a lap down there after going around, he has still scored a lap down back in position number 15 and getting that car fixed back up and trying to get it pointed back in the right direction here this afternoon as Aiden Lucas will be gifted the race lead here late in this one with less than 30 laps left to go in this race. About 28 laps left here in this feature event. So we're inching closer and closer to that checkered flag. And for the 34 ride and that fresh air being that control car on the restart is definitely not a bad place to be. We'll have to wait and see if he can hang on to it, keep that Ford Mustang out in front, and see if he can try to keep that Camaro. Matthew Wood back there at big as Matthew looking to be the reflection of perfection after winning the first couple stages here, looking to see if he can put the gap on this one and pick up that checkered flag as well in the race win here this afternoon. As Ryan Haller having a great run, he rolls there in third. Logan Perriman back there behind him in fourth, and Keegan Huey, who we saw get tied up and tore up in the first caution flag of the day. He thought his day was over, but rebounding nicely and back up inside the top 5 here for himself late in this one. Brian Underwood back there in 6th with Wyatt Mickelson now up into 7th. Not too long ago we saw Wyatt Mickelson multiple laps down, and unfortunately potentially out of this race, but all these caution flags giving him the lucky dogs, getting him right back into the action. Now has a brand new race car and some fresh tires in this 51 ride. Looks like he's bound to try to pick up another solid top 5 run here, top 10 performance this afternoon, maybe even put himself back up into victory lane as Nick Jensen there in 8th. We see Jason Bogart back in 9th, and Zach Claytor, who was our race leader before this caution flag, who just came down pit side there on lap 127, he rolls out in that 10th position. Nick Biddy, Zach Perry, Michael Durham Jr., Grant Applegate rounding out our top 14 as Grant trying to catch up to the rear of the field as we get ready to go back to green flag racing as he stayed down pit side for an extended period of time, trying to get that car fixed up and ready to rock and roll here again this afternoon. As here we go, back to green flag racing as that 34 ride of Aiden Lucas down through the Geico restart zone. We'll see that green flag fly, and here we go, back to battle from Phoenix Raceway as Aiden Lucas leads the way. A great restart, quickly jumps down low, gonna bring Ryan Haller right there with him. Haller able to clear that 16 machine of Matthew Wood. Wood slides back to third, but we'll see if he can battle back to the outside. Here that 23 is Ryan Haller in prime position, trying to pick up one of his first wins here in a league race. As he rolls there in position number 2, you do see Matthew get back down to his inside. Now in that preferred line through corner 3 and 4, but the 23 gonna hang hard with him here. They're gonna take that racetrack surface here and not go down onto the apron. Unfortunately, that's going to lose him a little bit of time here. Now you already see Matthew Wood down to the inside here of our race leader. Aiden Lucas trying to hang on to it. He's not going to give it up easy there. Door to door and getting a little squirrely. Out at 2 is that 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood will slide back again into that third position. Haller right there in the right place at the right time. Will slide back up into second here, and now he'll put the pressure onto the back bumper of that 34 line, but electing to stay up in the racing surface. Now it's the longer way around the racetrack there. You can save a lot of time and maybe make up quite a bit of ground, but it really hurts your entry into corner number 1 there. So definitely taking the good with the bad down through the dog leg and into corner number 1 for that 23, and he's able to hang right there in that second spot on the racetrack. Now getting to the back bumper here of our race leader as it's a it's a pretty good battle here in the front of the field, man, and already you see that 16 battling back, taking a look down low, trying to find his way back around Ryan Haller, sliding Haller back into third. Here's their door-to-door into corner number 1 on the racetrack. There's the move in. Matthew Wood back up into second. Haller trying to come back down low underneath him. See if he can try to cross him over there. Unfortunately, just could not get the run that he was looking for on corner exit. Here comes Perriman right to the back bumper of that 23, now putting on a show here himself as Perriman in that Sprite ride rolls in position number 4 and looking for more, and Brian Underwood back there in position number 5, but here comes Wyatt Mickelson. Mickelson right into the mix. They're almost 3 wide here for that 5th position as Keegan Huey up on the high side. The 51 of Wyatt Mickelson down low, and here comes Zach Claytor right into this battle as well as Claytor in that 8th position, and Zach Perry back there behind him as we see the caution flag come back out. So the caution flag coming back out here in this one is Nick Jensen. Gonna run into some problems out there on the racetrack. Let's take a look and see what happens here to that John Deere number 42. Just down that conversion going from the racing surface onto the apron. We saw so many drivers today run into issues on that exact spot going down through that dog leg, and unfortunately this time, and I do believe for the second time here this evening, we see that 42 ride run into an issue going from the racing surface onto this apron. You just kind of go over some bumps right there. It's dirty, it's slick down there on the apron. Unfortunately he loses the handle, tries to correct it. Unfortunately carrying all that speed momentum, swings back up the racetrack hard into that outside fence, and that car is absolutely rode off, and unfortunately looks like he's going to have to tow that thing back down pit side. We also saw Nick Biddy run into issues as well in the number 32 ride. Biddy has also taken his car down pit side here. Let's take a look and see what happens to this 32 machine, as I do believe he runs into almost the exact same issue. Yep, right there. Loses that rear end, comes down into the pit lane wall right there. Heavy left front damage here for that 32, and unfortunately that may have taken him out of this race as well, as he's taken that car down pit side, and I do believe still down there. But maybe rolling back out onto the racetrack here. So Biddy's day not over yet. That caution flag may have actually saved him, as he was going to have to go down pit side during some green flag laps. And luckily enough, that yellow flag came out at the right time to keep him out there on the racetrack, still on the lead lap. As you do see Grant Applegate back down pit side. He's still getting that car repaired after using his quick repair earlier on. After getting some additional damage on that right front, he is back down pit lane, just continuing to try to get this car back into 100% and keep on rolling out there on the speedway as our race leader, Aiden Lucas, going to try to hold these guys off, try to put himself up into victory lane, as Ben Gleason says, let's go Underwood, cheering on Brian Underwood out there on the racetrack as Brian rolls there in position number 5. Right now he is tied with the driver right behind him. Keegan Huey is the hard charger here this afternoon. Both drivers up 16 positions. Both drivers start at the back of the pack here, and both of them have worked their way up to the front of the field. Underwood started back in 21st, and Keegan Huey started in 22nd. The two last drivers out there on the racetrack, and now here they are both trying to work their way up through the top 5 and maybe into victory lane this afternoon, as we'll get them stacked up and back to battle here at Phoenix Raceway late in this race. Matthew Wood, though, he's been pretty good here all evening long, led a lot of laps, won that first and second stage of the day, looking to cap it off with a big win and another checker flag in the history books for that Racers for Christ number 16 machine, as only 20 laps left to go. It'll be 19 as we go back to green flag racing, and the caution flags, they may not be over yet. We may still see more caution flags, more yellow flags, making this race a very, very exciting one right down to the very end. As here we go down into corner number 3, nice and easy. Go to corner number 4, down through the Geico restart zone. You see the 34 ride moving up the racetrack a little bit right there, putting these other drivers on the outside lane a little higher up the racetrack there. Maybe a little less grip and maybe a little strategy for that Goat diecast ride, as that 34 quickly onto the loud pedal and quickly pulling back out in front. So out in front, looking to try to run away with it, is a little bit of beating and banging back there. And one driver turned around. That's Nick Jensen, unfortunately down pit side. And Trenton Johns turned around the wrong direction here up on the high side. And that will bring the caution flag back out. So, oh man, tough break right here as Nick Biddy nowhere to go. As let's take a look here. The 2 ride of Trent Johns just rolling down through the middle here. Unfortunately, he blinks a little bit right there. Then all of a sudden, they're 3-4 wide up into corner number 1, and he just comes up towards the outside fence. And Nick Biddy already there. They coming to each other, and around the nose of that 32 goes that 2 right, pointing the wrong direction, and that will bring the caution flag back out this afternoon. So another quick yellow flag as cautions breeding cautions here this afternoon from Phoenix Raceway, and for Aiden Lucas. I don't know if that's, I think that's a good thing for him. I don't know, as now Matthew Wood will be on his back bumper for this restart. Ryan Haller will be the car to his outside here. Aiden Lucas, though, out in front as these laps continue to click down late in this race. Getting a big restart, being able to get a great launch, may be able to hold these guys off for a few laps and then have some issues if they catch back up to his rear bumper. So if he can make this a very short run, being that controlled car could definitely put you into the top spot here and able to run away with this win. So seeing these caution flags, being able to keep this car underneath of you late in this race may be the winning strategy, and just having that track position could put you up into victory lane. So for Aiden Lucas, he is in the catbird seat. Ryan Haller now going to be in a difficult spot on the outside lane. Going to have to try to play that strategy game, try to see if he can time that restart perfectly, get the jump, and try to hang right there with that 34 ride. And for Matthew Wood, he's going to be doing everything he can up there in that Racers for Christ car. He's going to be all over the back bumper here of that 34 machine. But if I'm that 34 car, I am playing some different strategy games. I really want to make sure that that 16 ride does not get a good restart. So maybe even rolling into that restart zone, kind of faking them out with like a little bit of a jolt, kind of tap that throttle a little bit, kind of make it seem like you're going to go and fake them out where they start to go onto the throttle, realize that you're not going. So soon as they roll out of the throttle, realizing you're not going, that's exactly when you go. Just kind of that little cat and mouse game, the little back and forth, and as soon as they back out of it, you go back into it and just kind of pull away. Get that long, big restart and quickly open up a few car lengths in front of them and try to just run away with this race and just hope that they fight back there for position number 2 for a lot of laps, and for Ryan Haller to be up here inside the top 5, and now his teammate Wyatt Mickelson right back into the mix as well, man. They've been having a strong race here this afternoon. Wyatt's ran into some issues there throughout the start and the middle portion of this race, but battling back in right there inside the top 5 now. It's going to be a big restart for the 51 machine as well, as here we go. Flag racing, the pace car going to make that hard left-hand turn back down pit side and down through that Geico restart zone. We will go back to battle here this afternoon with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. It'll be 15 laps left to go. 15 laps left to go here in this one. Who's it going to be? Who's going to find victory lane? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, jump up into the comment section right now. Let us know who you're cheering for and who you want to see up in victory lane as a perfect restart for the 34, not the restart that the 23 Ryan Haller was hoping to have. Haller unfortunately did not fire well again in that outside lane. That has been his kryptonite here this afternoon. Now up on the high side, trying to roll down through quarter 1 and 2 with ease and trying to stay right there on his teammate's back bumper as the inside lane virtually jumps up 3 lines right there, putting Wyatt Mickelson now into third as Matthew Wood back up into second here. Aiden Lucas still holding him off here. Aiden gonna have to try to work his butt off to keep that 16 ride back there at bay as Ryan Haller able to clear that 76 of Zach Perry to stay there in position number 4. As here we go down to the inside, a little contact right there, getting that 34 ride loose. A big run coming down from that number 51 ride as here we go. Matthew Wood back out in front late in this race. Aiden Lucas back to second. Now Wyatt Mickelson looking to try to take position number 2 away from him. Now he gets up into the outside fence. A heartbreaker there for the 34 ride. After giving up that race lead, now at risk of sliding even farther back as there goes the 51. Now he's got Ryan Haller down to his inside as they duke it out here at Phoenix. It's Matthew Wood who has this race lead and just looking to run away with this one. Zach Perry there in that 1776 Motorsports ride rolls there in position number 5, trying to battle to the outside here now of Ryan Haller as Zach Claytor back there in position number 6. Keegan Huey there in 7th with Jason Bogart back in 8th. Logan Perriman there in 9th, and Nick Biddy rounding out our top 10 as we'll go back to the caution flag. Caution flag back out on the speedway as Joe David going to run into some issues here. The G. Loomis 6 ride pointing the wrong direction there. He goes around. The caution flag will come back out. Heartbreaker here for him as it looks like he's battling hard with this 2 ride and maybe already seeing someone sliding sideways in front of him. He kind of gets down onto the apron right here. They're trying to avoid the 77 right of Brian Underwood, and then they just make a little contact. The 2 and the 6 come together, shoves that front end down the racetrack and hard into the inside fence right there, and unfortunate damage. More contact for that 6 rider. Joe David just has not been his day, and for that 77 rider, Brian Underwood, he's just been sliding backwards here and unfortunately loses a ton of positions right here. After some contact, looks like the 38 Huey gets up into the 99 rider, Perriman, and puts Perriman into the back bumper of that 77 ride, spinning him almost sideways and luckily not able to catch it, minimize that damage, and unfortunately the driver had all of that to get the worst end of the deal was that 6 machine as he ends up in the inside fence, and Joe David ends up with a bunch of front right damage. You see that car still heavily damaged but still rolling out there on the racetrack, going to get ready for the restart, try to hope to maybe gain a couple extra spots here late in this race. We do see Grant Applegate back down pit road here. Where's Grant? Grant's down pit road somewhere out there. There's Grant. He's back down pit lane trying to get that car repaired. You'll see the 99 ride of Logan Perriman also down pit side here. They were putting some tires on that car. Maybe had a set of scuffs back there behind pit wall. That may be a little bit better than what everyone's running right now. Maybe a bit of a strategy call there for that 99 machine as he rolls back out onto the racetrack. Currently scored back in that 13th position for Applegate. If he rolls back out there onto the racetrack, he scored back in 14th. Still trying to get this car repaired and back into one piece. Is out in front. It's Matthew Wood. Matthew has the race lead with Wyatt Mickelson in position number 2. Aiden Lucas back there in 3rd. Ryan Haller in position number 4. Zach Perry back there in 5th with Zach Claytor. Keegan Huey, Jason Bogart, Nick Biddy, and Jaden Porter are top 10 on the racetrack. Some big rebounds for a lot lot of these drivers, a lot of these cats that are up and down our top 10 have ran into some serious issues out there on the racetrack. Some big hits. Not too long ago, we saw Jaden Porter bringing up that caution flag, going a lap down himself and having some serious front end damage on that 74 ride. Now he's gotten back onto the lead lap, got that lucky dog, and he's right back into the mix here inside the top 10. Nick Biddy, a couple caution flags ago, was stuffed up into that outside fence, got some serious damage. Here he is in that 9th position. We've seen Huey early on in this race go multiple laps down, thought his day was over, but here he is in this top 10 battling here for what could be a solid run and a great performance for him. The 76 is Zach Perry. He's been up and down throughout the field, been tied up in a few incidents. The same with Wyatt Mickelson, who is down multiple laps, probably about 3 or 4 laps down, and has battled his way back up, and now will restart here late in this race on the outside of the front row, looking to try to pick up the win here this afternoon. Matthew Wood, our stage 1 winner here, ran into some problems himself, has worked his way back up through the traffic, and here he is late in this race trying to pick up a big dump here this evening. As the 16 of Wood out in front, getting ready for this restart. Wyatt Mickelson trying to time this restart perfectly on the outside lane. Unfortunately, does not get the launch that he was hoping for right there. That's going to hurt him and his teammate Ryan Haller, as Haller's back there in position number 4 behind him. They're both looking to potentially slide back a spot or 2 here on this restart, as here comes that 76 down to the inside. Zach Perry looking to try to race his way up inside the top 3. Aiden Lucas trying to hunt down our race leader's back bumper here, trying to put the pressure onto Matthew Wood late in this race, as Matthew leads us down into corner number 3, nice and easy, down and out of corner number 4, and we will see only 7 more laps left to go. 7 more laps left here in this one, as that 16 right out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done here this afternoon. As Matthew Wood leads this race, Aiden Lucas trying to maybe get a little payback there. Got ran a little rough for the race lead himself, and if he can get an opportunity to get to that rear bumper of the 16 right, he may give him a shot in the shorts, may try to move him up the racetrack and out of the way, but he's got to catch him first. Out there on the speedways, Wyatt Mickelson holds on to position number 3, but here comes Zach Claytor. Claytor right there in position number 4 and looking for more, as Zach Perry trying to hold on to a top 5 run, as Keegan Huey down to his inside. Now here comes Ryan Haller, Nick Biddy right there, as well as that NPD number 32 Ryan rolls back there in the 8th position, as Jason Bogart there in position number 9. Michael Durham Jr. there in the doubles here. We're going to round out our top 10. Is back down across the line. We will click off another lap, as here comes Grant Applegate. Here comes that 99 of Logan Perriman. Both these drivers trying to race their way back inside the top 10 here this afternoon. A great comeback it would be for both of them, but you still see that heavy right front damage on that Red Bull 57 ride, and he's having a tough time trying to make that pass on the double zero, but finally does move back up into that 10th position, as Matthew Wood out in front, just stretching this race lead out 6/10 of a second between himself and Aiden Lucas. Lucas trying to hold on to position number 2 is a little farther back. You do see Wyatt Mickelson and Zach Claytor right there, nose to tail. That's the battle for 3rd, and the caution flag is going to come back out, and we're going to be heading to NASCAR overtime here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Oh, brother, another late race caution flag, and unfortunately for these drivers, they will have to get stacked up, racked up, and ready to try these restarts all over again. And that could be good news for that 51 ride, able to start on the back bumper of the 16 ride. Seems like that inside lane really fires off nicely. They're able to gain a couple positions, and for that 34 ride of Aiden Lucas, starting that outside lane, going to be mission impossible here this afternoon, as we'll take a look back, see what brings out this late race caution flag. Is the 99 ride and the 77, maybe make a little contact, nope. Maybe still. Oh, there we go. Right down through the dog leg there. Again, another driver running into issues. We've seen this time and time again here this afternoon. Taking this dog leg, it seems like it's a good idea until you run into those issues and you start to hip, skip, and jump across some of those cracks. And unfortunately, very bumpy, very dirty racing surface down there. It is very easy to lose that rear end and go for a ride. Luckily enough for the 99 ride of Logan Perryman, doesn't end up with serious damage or anything else on that 99 machine, and he'll keep on rolling out there on the speedway. Going to burn up some of his tires there though, and give up a little track position and make this a little bit more interesting here late in this race as a green-white checkered finish. We are going to have, I do believe, we got a couple attempts at it, 3 attempts here at this NASCAR overtime. The green-white checkered finishes. So when we go back to green flag racing, we'll see that green flag. The next time around will be that white flag. If we do not make it back to the white flag, we will load them all back up and we will try it again at least 2 more times here for the NASCAR overtime this afternoon. But if we see that white flag fly, if the race leader takes that white flag, then there will be no more caution flags. Whether or not they're wrecking, they're crashing, they're upside down and burning back there behind them, we will race back down to the start-finish line here this afternoon. So for Matthew Wood, his goal is just to get a great restart. Hope to see it stay clean and green down through 1 and 2 and back down through 3 and 4, and hoping that he can get across that start-finish line before any chaos starts to happen here again, and then just try to pull away and win this race. But for all these drivers back there behind him, it is game on. This is your time to shine. This is your moment to try to put yourself up and into victory lane, into the history books here as race number 3 winner here in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. So each and every one of these drivers are hoping to see maybe some contact in the front of the field, maybe see some rubbing and scrubbing and the door open for themselves to take a run and maybe put themselves up into victory lane, or maybe gain a couple extra spots late in this race and maybe move up a little closer to the front of the field here. Get top 5, top 3, maybe top 10 is all they're looking for here this afternoon. We'll have to wait and see who's able to make some moves, make some late race charges, and see if there's any more chaos here on the afternoon. As Matthew Wood down on the inside, Aiden Lucas to his outside. Then we see Wyatt Mickelson, Zach Claytor, Keegan Huey, Zach Perry, Ryan Holler, and Nick Biddy are top 8 out there on the speedway. As down through 3 and out of 4, we will get ready to go back to green flag racing. There we go, a great launch for the 16 ride. That's exactly what he was looking for. The outside lane did not fire off well, and unfortunately, they are going to slide a couple car lengths back there. As here we go, the 51 ride of Wyatt Mickelson quickly jumps up into position number 2. So Mickelson now in second, but they're trying to close the gap here on that 16 ride. Matthew Wood, perfect down through 1 and 2. No caution flag as of yet. They head down into 3, nice and easy. Down through 3 and out of 4 and back down across the line. We will see that white flag fly. So one more time around here this afternoon, no matter what, even if they're wrecking back here behind our race leader, the checkered flag will fly this next time around the start-finish line. As Aiden Lucas trying to take that second spot back away from Wyatt Mickelson. Mickelson not wanting to give it up easy. They're battling back there for second, and that's exactly what Matthew wants to see. Is for the final time, he heads down through 3 and out of 4. It's Matthew Wood who's able to pick up the checkered flag here at Phoenix Raceway. Matthew gets it done and pulls that Racers for Christ number 16 up and into the Phoenix Raceway victory lane. Matthew Wood getting it done here in this one as Aiden Lucas able to jump back into second. Wyatt Mickelson will have to settle in for 3rd. Zach Claytor, Keegan Huey are top 5. Zach Perry back there in 6th. Ryan Holler in 7th with Nick Biddy, Jason Bogart, and Brian Underwood are top 10 on the afternoon. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Matthew Wood. As Matthew picks up the checkered flag, will pull himself up and into victory lane here at Phoenix Raceway after a heck of a run, heck of a drive, able to win both the stages and this checkered flag this afternoon. A dominating performance, a very fast race car. Ran into some issues there throughout that final run, but able to rebound from it, get back to the front of the field, hold these drivers off on some late race restarts. And that NJB Designs wooded car down in the victory lane here for Matthew Wood. The Wood car for Mr. Wood out there on the speedway, and the Racers for Christ ride picks up the dub here this afternoon. We'll get, he's going to get absolutely T-boned right there from Grant Applegate. I don't know if Applegate was just showing his displeasure maybe, or I don't know what that was, but Applegate just absolutely murdered that 16 ride here after the checkered flag, and man, it's not going to stop him from celebrating. He's still going to party here, Hardy, down here in victory lane at Phoenix Raceways. We'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth as Haynes Camp up in the chat says 3rd place from 3 laps down. Wyatt, what a run right there for him, man. That was a heck of a run. Top 10, 7 for me, 23 car. Let's go. Tons of stage points, too. Yeah, tons of stage points. Some great racing action there for Wyatt and yourself tonight, Ryan, as you guys put on a heck of a show go out there on the speedway. And Ramrod says, good job, 1776. Top 10, Perry and Bogart. Yeah, top 10 right there for Zach Perry and Bogart as they come home in 6th and 9th out there on the racetrack. But no one doing it better than Matthew Wood, and we'll get ready to jump up into the broadcast booth here with our top 3 finishers this afternoon and see what they got to say about tonight's finish here this evening. Hey Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Hello.
Matthew, man, what a run, what a race. Take us back through this one. Obviously, a little bit of different strategy and running into some problems there in that final run, but here in the first 2 stages, able to pick up both those stage wins, able to earn a lot of bonus points here on the evening, and then here you are late in this race, leading the way, then on a couple of those restarts, a couple different pitch strategies, kind of puts you back there a little deeper in the field, and then we see you get up into the outside fence there. You clobber pretty hard, getting that heavy right front damage. You have to come down pit side, get that repaired, and have to work yourself back up through this traffic, and slowly but surely, methodically, you pick and choose your times to strike. You're able to make those moves, and here you are late in this race, being able to race your way up to the front of the field and pick up a big win on the afternoon, man. Even though you get clobbered late in this race at the end here by the 57 right of Grant Applegate, as we see a crowd walking down towards your pit stall here on the pit lane. As, man, what a run, what a race. Take us back through this one and what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. A lot of cautions. I did get saved by one though. Yeah, I went down into turn 1 and I thought I'd turn, broke at my braking point. It never went. I don't think I can go in here. Oh wow, that's shocking. I can't probably go further in here. Wow, that is shocking. I cannot, but I just made a revelation. Oh my lord. I don't know which way I'm supposed to turn.
Lane here at Phoenix?
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Pull right up there, brother. Get right up there. Get comfy, man. You earned it. Don't go too far. You'll roll off that.
I don't care. But yeah, I broke at my braking point, and I was like, this thing ain't turning, is it? And then I hit that little opening in the wall. But yeah, definitely a fun race. When we were racing, I felt like the car was just hooking up in 3 and 4 like I wanted it to. I found a way to get it to the bottom in the center. That way I could just get off the exit of the corner and not have to use the dog leg to gain time, and it wouldn't waste my tires. So I figured that one out. But again, just a lot of cautions. I almost lost it there under Aiden. I was below him, and then I almost took him out, I think. So that was great. I apologize profusely. I don't know if it was my fault, his fault, or both of our faults, but definitely a fun one for sure.
Absolutely, definitely a fun-looking race out there on the speedway. A lot of back and forth, a lot of big moves out there being thrown by drivers, and a lot of great tight battles out there, but no one better here this evening than yourself as you pull yourself finally up here into the Phoenix Raceway victory lane. Matthew, who'd you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the speedway?
Well, I got to thank Noah for the wood grain car. I guess that's my new theme now. I'm Matthew Wood, so I have to have wood on my car, a literal wooden block. So that's great. Thank you, Noah. And the little thing that we're going to have, of course, I'm racing in PSCRL after the break for 2 races in a row. It's Super Speedways. But after that, we have now a Corvette that I'm going to be using as the pace car, and Noah has done that paint scheme as well. So thank Noah for both of those. Thank you for what you do. Thank the lead for everything that they've done. Thank the Lord for what he's done for me and for what he always will.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matthew, heck of a run, heck of a drive out there on the racetrack, man, and congratulations on picking up another big win here this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you back in action and back out there on the racetrack for a little bit of racing action here, a couple nights a week in the coming weeks after the Easter weekend. Seeing you out there not only on Saturday nights but here on Sunday nights as well, trying to chase down some checker flags.
All right, thank you, man.
Absolutely, Matthew. Enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy the win here this afternoon. Don't party too hard down there in victory lane.
I'll try not to, no promises.
Beauty. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Matthew Wood as Wood picks up the checker flag here this afternoon. We'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher as Aiden Lucas down pit side. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Aiden, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad, Aiden, man. Another strong run, another great race here for you, man. As late in this one, you had that race lead. You were trying to use those restarts to your advantage. Unfortunately, just couldn't hold off that 16 ride, especially when he was all over your back bumper, gave you a little shot, washed you up the racetrack there, and he just drove down around you and took that race lead away, and you just couldn't quite get back there to pay him back late in this race.
Yeah, man, he's always quick. Yeah. He says, "Oh, I'm not too good in these next gens," but he finds ways to make speed, I guess. Yeah, I was definitely nervous there with him breathing down my neck, but nothing you can do really.
Yeah, absolutely. Just hoping for maybe a couple more of those caution flags to count these laps down. And, it seemed like you could hold him off for those couple laps until he kind of got rocking and rolling. Obviously, you're able to control those restarts late in the race and able to have that race lead for those 2 or 3 laps, which would have been perfect if you could have got down to these green-white checkers. Unfortunately, he's able to take that race lead away from you before we get down to the end of this race and doesn't open up that opportunity for you here late in this one.
Yeah, just a little bit short, kind of crazy with the madness at the end. Just barely got Wyatt back. And maybe could have had a little bit for Matthew if we had a couple more laps.
Yeah, absolutely a good battle there as Wyatt obviously using that inside lane as the outside lane just seemed like it couldn't really fire off as good as the bottom side. Obviously having the control car choosing that bottom lane, able to just get that arc and that drive down there. Seemed like you guys definitely took that couple extra milliseconds there to really register that the inside lane was starting to go, and unfortunately just maybe not as much grip up there. And we saw time and time again where the car that starts in second seemed to fall back to that third, fourth position on these restarts, and that's exactly what we see there early as Wyatt gets around you, but you're able to battle back and get him back there right at the line to steal position number 2 back away from him.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder because of the way that the top line has to go around a longer distance in the corner. And then you end up about 2 cars back, 3 cars back going into one. You got to really send it on the outside if you want to have a chance.
Absolutely. Well, you were right there. You had a chance at picking up the checker flag this afternoon. You have to settle in for a second position here this afternoon. A good points day, a solid performance for you, man. Who'd you like to thank, though, for such a good run out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, thank everybody at W2W, Evan, Jaden, Sammy. Yeah, we're all up here trying to get this thing going. Thank you, Aaron, for your broadcast. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, next weekend we are off for Easter, so we'll see you in a couple weeks' time and hopefully see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, Aiden.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Aiden Lucas. This is Aiden coming home there in position number 2. A solid run and a solid drive there for that 34 ride as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher here. Another trip up into the broadcast booth for Wyatt Mickelson. Him and his teammates, man, they've been on a tear here this year. These guys have been showing a lot of good speed, a lot of great momentum here in the season. And right now, Wyatt Mickelson, he's been pretty hot, man. He's been very, very good, very fast out there on the racetrack and continuing to get better every week. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Wyatt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yep, I got you, Aaron.
Wyatt, man, another strong race, another great performance for you, a great rebound day as well as, obviously, we saw you early on get tied up, run into those issues. All of a sudden, you find yourself, multiple laps down, but all these yellow flags, able to work yourself back onto the lead lap, and then you start picking your way back up through the field, trying to use some of that strategy to your advantage, and you are late in this race, man, battling up there at the front of the field, battling for that race win, and battling right down to the line here for position number 2 and 3 here to finish off this evening, man. Take us back through this race. What's going to go through your mind here? Is it look like things could have been over for you early on, but you're able to survive and still pick up a top 3 run?
Yeah, not a very good run at first. Definitely. I'm sorry to Reese. I know I took him out early in that spin out. I tried to save it, and then I was just going way too slow in that turn for when I gathered it back up. So sorry to anyone that I took out or damaged in that. But yeah, I was just hoping just to get back on the lead lap with like 20 to go, possibly. I did not think I was gonna finish in the top 3 at all, or even the top 5. I was running up in the top 10 towards the end and got all the laps back with all the cautions, and just got lucky and just took my time. Had to be really, really patient with it. So I had no more fast repairs, so I was just holding on to her and just trying to bite my time to get to the end, and were able to pull it out. And me and Aiden that was a lot of fun up front. Me and Aiden were duking it out, drag racing down the back stretch, coming to the checkered. And I almost had him in first to the second spot, but just fell a little bit short. But all around, really great run for Fuel Up Motorsports and all that. So yeah, me and Ryan did pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely strong showing for both you and Ryan here this afternoon as you're able to park it up on the podium again. He was right there looking, he was battling for the race win, battling for a top 5, top 3 run here tonight as well. Obviously, kind of in the wrong lane at the wrong times there late in this race and slid back into 7th. But man, strong showing, strong race for both you guys here in the Fueled Up Motorsports stable. And to back it up here with another top 3 run this afternoon, why it's got to feel pretty dang good, man. Who'd you like to thank for the strong run and strong showing that you guys have been putting together here over the last few weeks?
I'd like to thank you for putting on this broadcast as always, and thank the guys for putting on the leagues and the practices throughout the week. Me and Ryan we were really practicing a lot this week on this track, just get better. Wasn't really my strongest track, even though it is my home track, but thank all the guys put on this league and all that, and for the awesome run.
Absolutely. Well, Wyatt, we look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack here in a couple weeks' time here as we're off next weekend due to Easter, but we'll get you back out there on the racetrack here soon enough and right back into the fight, see if you can pull that 51 machine back up here into victory lane.
Sounds good. Thanks, Aaron.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, you too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Wyatt Mickelson as Wyatt coming home there in position number 3. Solid run, solid drive, solid rebound there for that 51 machine. Solid rebound out of a lot of these drivers here this evening. You look back there at, Keegan Huey, who was our hard charger on the afternoon, and especially after going multiple laps down himself early in this race, getting tied up in that first caution flag and having that big damage and going laps down and battling back for a top 5 there for himself. Huge run there for Keegan Huey, and we saw issues for Zach Perry and Nick Biddy, Jason Bogart. A lot of these drivers running into problems is still coming home with a pretty solid run here this afternoon, including our race winner Matthew Wood, as Wood down there celebrating in victory lane here this afternoon. Each and every one of these drivers trying to lick their wounds and going to get ready here in a couple weeks time to go back to battle and see if they can find their way into victory lane, as unfortunately that's going to do it for us here this evening. We will be back in action in 2 weeks time as we will be off for Easter weekend. Easter weekend we'll be taking a break here, not only for the series but for myself up here in the broadcast booth. Going to be able to enjoy some extra time in there with the family and friends and celebrate the resurrection and everything else for Jesus and everything, and go to church there on Sunday and show some some love to the community, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a good time, and glad to get the weekend off. Glad to be able to take a little bit of a break away from the streaming stuff. Unfortunately, I still have to go to work as well. That's kind of the big bummer there. I wish I was off next weekend, not this weekend, where I could really enjoy the full weekend, full experience there, and not have to worry about going to work and everything kind of in the middle there. But nonetheless, we're going to be back in action here tomorrow night. We're going to be still doing broadcasts right up until, I do believe, Friday. Even on Good Friday, I do believe we're doing a broadcast. I'd have to check with that other league, our Friday night league, to see if we're racing Friday or if we're taking it off there for Good Friday. But nonetheless, we still got some great racing here throughout the rest of the week. We're going to be back in action come next Monday and paddling again and duking it out there on the Speedway and having some fun here on Peacemaker Gaming, enjoying the simulating racing, as we unfortunately will call it a day right there on that note. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares. Even if you're rewatching this broadcast, it's not too late. Make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button on the stream, hit that share, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and we'll see you guys back in action here tomorrow night. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Peace out for now, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, pacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah, yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.